Zohran Mamdani, New York City's first social influencer mayor, has reached the 100-day mark, running the city like he's still on the campaign trail. The Point starts right now. A hallmark of Zohran Mamdani's campaign for mayor was the unique locations he chose for his events, and he's still doing it, which is why I had to talk to him about his first 100 days at the Prospect Park Zoo. Mayor Mamdani stood in front of the Prospect Park Zoo's red panda enclosure. After all, why wouldn't you if your press conference du jour was a junk feed settlement with the Hungry Panda delivery app, and your staff had gone to great lengths to make sure that the normally nocturnal red pandas were there for you to marvel at?
Just going to take a quick look to see if the pandas are still right here. Just like one second break.
One on the ground. Right.
Incredible.
He was right there. Yes.
Incredible. Even the post is happy. Come on.
It was vintage Mamdani and the location he chose for our chat. 100 days almost in office. What was your best moment?
Honestly, it's hard to top this one as we're sitting in the zoo celebrating with red pandas. I think my best moment was probably day 8 when we stood with Governor Hochul to announce $1.2 billion to put our city on a pathway to universal child care.
How did I know you were going to say that?
You know, I think part of it comes from the fact that New Yorkers consider it a good deal when they find $20,000 a year to spend on a child for a single year. We can put that money back in their pocket, and that's what we're going to do starting this fall.
Your worst moment?
Worst moment? Worst moment was when I read an article recently that said we might have more snow. I gotta be honest.
If you could do one do-over, what would it be?
One do-over. I would have worn a hat.
During the winter?
During the winter.
You know, can I tell you something? When I went out and talked to people, they said they're worried about your health. The February blizzard was more than a headache for the new mayor. As many as 24 died, and Staten Islanders were livid at a botched cleanup. But that was not his most frustrating moment.
Frustrating moment? I think, honestly, that we can't find more hours in the day. We are looking to do so much in this city to help the people who call it home. And there is never enough time, but every day is an opportunity to meet us.
So I'm wondering how the reality of governing, which is different than campaigning, has affected your ability to immediately realize some of your goals? Because, you know, you can't just say, I'd like to do it and snap your fingers.
You know, I think that there's a lot made of, you know, the poetry and the prose.
We've heard
it many, many times. I will say, however, that people underestimate how much you can do when you govern. I think about the fact that in less than 100 days, we secured more than $9 million for workers and small businesses. It's almost $100,000 a day going back in the pockets of people who had been defrauded of it by large-scale corporations. We're talking about holding bad landlords accountable. And when I go and meet those tenants and they show me the conditions they've lived in, I ask them, how long have you lived with this? They don't tell me a month or a year. They talk about decades. And right now we have more than 6,000 apartments being fixed through more than $30 million we've secured from those landlords.
The mayor's ambitious agenda, including a promise to either tax the rich or raise property taxes, has produced a battle royale with the way more moderate council speaker, Julie Menon.
We have said a hard no to raising property taxes 9.5%.
He's also tangling with Menon over a bill she passed and he hasn't yet signed to set up protest buffer zones around houses of worship and schools. I thought that the protests outside Gracie Mansion that led to those people with the pipe bombs were disturbing. And I wondered, truly in your heart, how you felt having those protests on your doorstep. I know you had to deal with it during the campaign, and I wonder, in your heart, if it hurt you.
It's difficult when someone comes with a pig to drop at your doorstep, or a goat, or is looking to find a criticism, not of your politics, not of you as a person, but of you as a part of the faith that you belong to. And what I'm heartened by, however, is that so often this kind of bigotry, it's not coming from here in New York City, it's coming from outside. And even though it's something I deeply disagree with, I still believe they have the right to their protest.
So I wonder if you feel the weight of being the first Muslim mayor the city has ever had, and how that affects the things that you do.
I wouldn't say I feel it as a weight. I would say that when I see what it means to so many New Yorkers who for a long time have been forced to debate whether or not they belong in this city, it really fills my heart. Because what I'm looking to be is a mayor for every New Yorker, and a mayor that every New Yorker can look to and say that I too belong in this place that I call home.
So one of the other problems that you've had is to win over some portion of the Jewish community. And when I went out and talked to people about your 100 days, some of the Jewish people that I spoke to said that they thought that you would do better to stay out of foreign affairs and not say, I'm going to arrest Bibi or I'm going to do this. Do you think that you should stay out of foreign affairs and just focus on running the city?
I think my focus should always be on running the city, and that's what it has been. And also that I should be honest with New Yorkers when I'm asked questions. You know, I've often been asked, for example, over the last few weeks, what do I think about the war in Iran? And I tell them that I think that this is an affront not just to procedure or politics, but also to our morals. That we are in a moment in time when a federal government can find tens of billions of dollars to plunge millions into despair, when that same money should be used to uplift working class New Yorkers and Americans out of a cost of living crisis across the country. And that is, to be honest with New Yorkers, my focus, however, is the 100,000 potholes. My focus is the more than 1,000 miles of roads we have to repave, and how every New Yorker can wake up in the morning and feel the city's on the right direction.
Mamdani is a man with plans. So you started down the road of affordability, you've got the child care working, but what's the next goal for your next 100 days or the 100 days after that?
Well, I will tell you that as we come to the end of the first 100 days, the next calendar date I have in my mind is actually the World Cup. We're less than 70 days away from it. And it's not just going to be the most watched sporting event in the world, it's also going to be a multi-billion-dollar economic opportunity for the city. And we want it to be one where New Yorkers are feeling the magic of the tournament in every borough of our city, in every neighborhood. And so we're hard at work right now in ensuring that tourists who come here, they feel the true breath of this city.
But so then if you're doing that, why are we asking the NYPD and the Parks Department are trying to ask other people not to do other things? Is because you don't want anything competing with the World Cup? It's
not about competition. There's going to be so much going on in this city, but it's about the fact that if we want to prepare for the scale of how many people are going to be visiting the city, events that we can reschedule in other times of the summer or other times in the fall, we should pursue that so that we have the requisite public sector capacity for the World Cup. What we've seen sometimes is cities and states and countries unprepared for just how popular of an event this is. We don't want that to be us. He also tried to show that no problem is too small to get his attention. So what surprised you most about being mayor? I think how much you can do and how important it is to not just pursue the big things, but the little things as well. You know, we talk about day 8 a lot, universal child care. Day 6, we filled a bump by the Williamsburg Bridge. And it was a bump that many cyclists had been going over day after day for weeks, for months, for years. We filled it, and it is something that still people approach me to talk about, because it's an example of the fact that if a New Yorker can't trust their city government to fill a bump in the road, how can they believe that that city government could deliver universal child care? You know what's really interesting is that you're able to recall day 6, day 8. You probably could tell me day 22. Why is that? I mean, is this something that you have plotted out, that you've focused on, that you have to do something special every one of these days? We have told ourselves that every day has to be one that's marked by an accomplishment, that by an achievement, by progress, because New Yorkers are rightfully impatient. They've been waiting for a long time, and we don't want them to wait any longer. Now, you can see more of my conversation with the mayor after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. Up next, the boys are back to offer their assessment of Mayor Mamdani's first 100 days in office. I'm joined now by J.C. Polanco, a professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent, and political consultant O'Brien Murray. So here's the first question. What was his best moment, if he had one?
I think childcare was it. I mean, when you talk about what you're doing for the children, even that, he's got the wrong message. the best thing about doing this for our children is that it's better for their future and the city's future. So it's not just taking care of the cost the parents have today. You can speak to all New Yorkers. So even that was a missed opportunity, but it's the one thing we also give Mayor de Blasio credit for. When he did the education for our children and moved it below kindergarten and 4K and 3K, that's the thing you can't argue against.
Look, he made a lot of promises, and they're going to be very hard to fulfill. So we're going to look at what has he done so far, and you got to give him credit. This pilot program, only 2,000 families, though, are going to have the opportunity to have free daycare, but there's no such thing as free. The money has to come from somewhere else. Another thing he promised...
Your pockets?
In my pockets and the pockets of the viewers. I'm very concerned about those high earners that are going to get their daycare paid for at our expense, our hardworking families across the city. But, you know, another thing he promised was to make sure that his appointments are at the Red Guidelines Board. He has a majority of the members. He's named already. So he has had a couple of victories, but it's still too early to tell. It's only 100 days. We got to give him some grace.
What's his worst moment?
His worst moment, I'm sorry, I got to tell you, I think that his decision on not removing the people from the streets in the midst of a blizzard was a mistake. We lost almost 24 New Yorkers. I think he should have said that in the interview. And I hope that he recognizes moving forward that can't do that again. And the way that the city reacted to the snow was just dismal.
I think it's actually a snowball effect he's getting to right now to talk about the snow. But what he's doing now on the fiscal issues, nothing he has done at that with anything fiscally right now is good for the city. The governor and this mayor are doing a dance. But as everyone looks at it, it looks like they're doing a dance. But what they're really doing is musical chairs. And what's going to happen when the music stops is New Yorkers will not have a seat. He's going to leave them out and do what he wants to do and not what's best for New Yorkers.
See, here's what we have to ask the question. So now we have a situation where the controller of the city of New York has criticized his fiscal policies, and so has the city council and council speaker Julie Menon. And then his response when they came out with their own budget proposal was to do a video attacking her. Was that a mistake, since they have to approve the budget? And where do we reach? I mean, he doesn't want to cut the budget, and we have a spending problem, so what's going to happen?
Everything about life is, you see with people, the greatest strength can be their greatest weakness. And he keeps on going to his strength of the videos and not out with the people. He goes out with the people and does what he can with the videos.
With the people,
but he does it for video purposes. He's doing it all based upon his social media. That what he should be doing is hunkering down in City Hall, cutting the budget, working with the city council, working with the speaker, and not being on the street with the videos. Talk to the people, but get back to your desk.
What do you feel about the budget battle?
The budget battle is clear. There's a huge learning curve that we have to deal with here. We have to give him some grace. At this time last year, he's an assemblyman out in Western Queens with a staff of 3 and a budget of a couple $100,000 for office rent. We're looking at someone who didn't have the managerial experience, and we're seeing it firsthand. We have a front row seat. So he's going to have these battles with the city council when he realizes that what you promise is not the same as reality. There's going to be finances that are not going to be there for your plans, and the city council has enormous power.
But he says he doesn't want to cut.
No, but he has to. The truth is that if he keeps talking about increasing taxes, those that can pay for the taxes, which top 2% of our city pays the overwhelming majority of the collected income taxes, will leave, and the rest of us, as he's warned us, are going to be stuck with an increase in our property taxes, which we have wholly rejected. He's going to have to learn how to navigate the bureaucracy now that he's made.
He has nobody to lead economic development in the city either. Either he's offering and people don't want it, or what was his transition team doing? They should have been able to find somebody from day 1, maybe day 30. After day 100, you have no one to lead economic development in New York City, and you want to raise taxes, and people are leaving the city in droves? Where's the spigot? How are you going to shut the spigot off when you can't grow the economy, and it's going to cost New Yorkers more because you're raising the budget and you can't keep on taxing people?
The good news is that there's time. The mayor has time to moderate on a lot of those issues and go from college activist, student activist, class president, campaigner to being the executive of New York City and moderate on a lot of these things.
But what happens when the legislature doesn't give him a tax on millionaires, and he obviously is in a position where it would be really politically stupid to raise property taxes because so many people say they're going to be hurt by it? What does he do?
He'll come on this program, he'll look at you and say, I tried. And that's what his base wants to see. The base wants to see the mayor try. And if he gets rejected at Albany, at least his supporters will know that he went all out and made an effort.
The governor's going to get blamed for anything he doesn't get at this point. The longer she waits, the longer they put off the budget, the more people may get lulled to sleep, and they can blame other people in the legislature. They wouldn't give me what I needed for my budget. I had to work with the legislature, and then the legislators get the victory. She gets some of the blame. He doesn't get what he needs. They wait it out until next year when she's not up for re-election.
So basically what you're saying is you think that the governor's going to raise taxes next year when she's not running for
Absolutely.
re-election?
I don't think so. There's no way she won't do it. She won't do it. She won't raise taxes because
How do you say I'm the affordability governor or the affordability mayor if you're raising taxes all the time?
You can't, because New York is overtaxed, and we're losing people, we're losing companies. We have to keep our tax base here. You can't raise taxes. The mayor has to realize this, and this is important. Half of New York, almost half of New York voted against you. Look at the numbers. So you got to focus on uniting the city. You have the business community warning you about some of these policies. Listen to them and rise to the level. Come up, man. You can do it. And all you have to do is listen to the folks that are paying the bills.
The city council and the state legislature have the same problem, a spending problem. And what they're trying to do is tax the other people that aren't the voters. They keep on floating ideas for taxes. There are taxes we haven't even heard discussed yet that will maybe in this budget at this point on the state level, the city level, or when they get to next year.
How about the old-fashioned way of cutting spending so that you can afford your budget?
Well, that's what all New Yorkers do at home.
Yeah.
That's what everybody does in their own
But
budget.
the mayor says he doesn't want to cut because he would have to cut positions and he would have to cut services.
The mayor doesn't want to cut because he wants to spend. He will never cut this budget. He will not limit the growth of the city budget, and he will limit the growth of the city fiscally and its opportunities by his plans.
The only person here that can bring some rational sense, well, there's two, and that's the speaker and our controller. They have to sit with the mayor and say, I understand this is what you promised, but we can't afford that, and you can't do it. Now, that's the only buffer we have to what could be a renegade mayor who is going to overspend us and put us in a position where property taxes across the city.
Jamie Dimon, a Democrat who is a leader of one of the greatest companies in this country, has more employees. They're headquartered in New York. They have more employees in Texas than they do in New York. What does that say about the opportunities to grow New York, to grow the jobs, great paying jobs here with chance of advancement, and they're not doing it, and that's what this mayor's bringing us.
How do you feel about his relationship with the NYPD?
Horrific. It's an F. I would give it an F. Not even incomplete.
We'll see. Look, he's talking about cutting the SRG, which would be a problem. He's still talking about cutting parts of the gang database that we keep in track to make sure that we're safe here in New York City. That's a problem. We're going to know this summer, because in the summer in New York City, we're going to see an uptick in crime. And I want the viewers to do this. Stop looking at overall city data. I don't want to hear how crime is happening on 57th and 5th. I want to know where crime is happening across the city, and look at those pockets in the Bronx and Queens and tell me if there have been upticks. That's what's bad. That's what matters.
Look, we have about a minute left. I want you to know, what grade would you give him for his first 100 days?
I'd give him an F at this point.
The overall?
Yes. Yes, because what he's doing is what he planned to do: tax New Yorkers, spend the money, and therefore, so he gets a blip on the screen of things he's done right. I was leaning towards an incomplete at one point and say he's got to get back in, and parents have to come in for counseling and try to help it. But the guy's got an F right now for the first quarter.
Look, I've been grading for 26 years, okay? And I'm going to tell you, I give him a B- with room to improve, only because he has made some promises on childcare, made some promises on the rent guidelines board, and I don't agree with him on 99% of things, but you got to give him grace and the opportunity to grow into the role.
We're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we will be right back. Thank you for joining me. Former Mayor Ed Koch's trademark saying was, "How am I doing?" I asked New Yorkers how Mayor Mamdani is doing. They're weighing in on your point. How's Mayor Mamdani doing?
I think he's doing a good job.
So far, it seems like he's doing a good job.
I think quite okay.
I guess okay.
I really like Mayor Mamdani.
He's doing a fantastic job.
He's doing the best he can.
I've heard a handful of people with their little gripes, but it seems like overall he has the overall people's support.
He's not taking no BS from nobody.
I think he's doing well. When the snow fell, he cleaned it all up. It was really good. He got people involved.
I think he's fine as long as he doesn't talk about international events. I think he's fine if he talks about the city.
What bothers you when he talks about international events?
Listen, as a Muslim married to a Jew, I don't think we should be talking about foreign affairs. He's the mayor of New York.
He's doing all right. It's still a little too early. I really want to see what happens with the police commissioner.
He's doing better than some of the other mayors did in the past. And honestly, that's all I can say.
What's he doing well?
I mean, he's trying to fix housing.
That I know for sure.
I think he's trying to tax the rich, which I appreciate. He's trying to make everyone's life better.
He's taking care of the children.
I think he's trying to gather the people together, I hope.
He's out there working with the people, fixing things like he said he was.
It seems like one thing he's doing is just catering to the people, like listening to what people are saying, trying to actually give them what they're asking for.
He's positive, he's spiritual, he's about the people, he's fantastic.
You know, he's come out and pretty much called it as it is, you know, in his daily speeches that he does on YouTube that I see.
I've been really happy to see the progress with his promises about early child care and free, accessible child care for the city.
I think he's really good at being nuanced in how he describes, bringing New Yorkers together and prioritizing New Yorkers.
I feel like he's more accessible than previous mayors. I feel like I'm seeing him around. At the same time, I don't know that I'm actually seeing him, like, answer questions, right? I see him in a lot of videos.
What do you think he needs to work on?
Taxes, just health.
Maybe self-care. He seems to be working a little bit too hard.
Housing, man. I've heard a lot about housing. He's a lot of talk about housing. I haven't seen a lot of results yet.
Well, he's got to work on the people liking him. Half of the community don't like him because they're all racist.
He needs to work on getting MAGA out of the city. Excuse my language. Sorry.
He doesn't go to Catholic churches. I haven't seen him.
So you think he should go to Catholic churches?
All the churches. I mean, there are many, not only Catholic, but many others.
He just started. Keep it up. Let's support him so he has the endurance to go through his term and do a great job for the city.
Is there anything about him that surprises you?
I think the follow-through is always surprising.
No, I think he's kind of who he's shown himself to be.
To me, the same person, the same bubbly person with a lot of energy.
I'm surprised that he's not like all the other that were in power.
What surprised me is that he won, which is a big deal. I didn't think he would win.
Just how he handles criticism, so nice.
I think he's really done a good job of not only reaching across the aisle politically, but also kind of reaching across. I really liked what he did for the inmates on Rikers Island, who were celebrating Passover. I thought that was a really powerful gesture.
This guy seems like he's, for the people. So let's see what happens. Give him a shot. And if he screws up, we get him out like everybody else. That's all.